What up, though? It's your girl, Tamara Dawn, and welcome to Tamara Till the Break of Dawn. Now, first things first, I want to thank y'all for hopping on my train of thought today, because you literally could be doing anything else right now, so I appreciate you tuning in. And before I get too far off into this intro, I definitely want to give a special shout out to my podcast fam. So make sure y'all actually check out them podcast suggestions in the episode note. Last but not least, want to give a special shout out to Sniper T for this beat, and all his information can be found in the episode notes as well. So, now that we got all that out the way, let's get it. So if you're thinking about doing a podcast, I highly suggest you use Anchor, and here's why. Now, first things first, it's free, and you can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. I'm talking dollar bills, y'all. Plus, Anchor will distribute your podcast for you to the major platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a bunch of others, so that's one less thing you gotta worry about. And they got all the tools you need to record and edit your podcast in one spot. And you can do all that from your phone or your computer. So, in my opinion, it's really the easiest way to make a podcast. Now, if that's what you're looking for and you're ready to jump on it, download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Y'all, first of all, if you hear my kids in the background, you know it is what it is. I told y'all we in this little hotel room or whatever that I'm tired of being in because I'm just like, I've never been a stay-at-home mom, and being around my kids all day, I love my kids. You already know I do. But being around them all day, literally all day while I'm working, like we literally spend every moment together. And man, shout out to the stay-at-home moms that do this for real, because man, I'll take all the stuff I go through at work over this just any day, which sounds terrible, but it's just I need my own space. We all do. And you know, I don't know, my life just feels really just super duper off track. I mean, like, I don't go to work. I work every day because I'm working from home, but I don't go to work. And I'm a person that needs super duper structure. I realize I thrive in structure, and I basically have no structure. Like, I just feel like I have no boundaries. Like, everything is just meshed together. And so this episode is going to be super random because I'm really just going to kind of talk about all the things that are just kind of on my mind, that have just been flowing through my mind the past week. And you know, if you listened last week to the Grief Journal episode, I told y'all my cousin passed away. Honestly, the hospital killed her. Let's be real. I'm actually going to put at least one of the articles, because it's kind of crazy just how much, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know. So I guess I'll just say it's crazy how much this story has been shared, like on Twitter, and how many different people, I don't know. I can't think of what I'm trying to say. So the story has just gotten a lot of attention, and there's been articles written and stuff. So I'm going to put some of them in there. But as a result of that, I feel like the biggest emotion that I'm feeling is anger, and it's not even so much anger about her dying, although that is just some bull, you know what I mean? But like, to keep it real and not be fake, like, all my anger goes towards my dad. And this happened when my uncle died, because it's like, when someone's died, like my uncle, I've been supposed to go out there, you know what I mean, to be able to see them. And then he died, and then I just realized all that I've been robbed of because of my dad. And then my cousin, she's younger than me. She was only 26. So I've actually never met her. Like, we were Facebook friends, and I was supposed to go out there this summer. I don't even know what this looks like, with the Rona or whatever. So it makes me so mad, and it just makes me, I'm not going to say I hate my dad, but I literally have no respect for him whatsoever. And it's kind of crazy because I've always felt guilty about when I would feel like I don't want to try to have a relationship with him. Like, I would always feel like, oh, well, if he comes back around, I should try, or I should be open to, or whatever. And then it's crazy because this podcaster that we follow each other on Instagram, and we're in this, like, I like to join a lot of the people will invite me into like retweet groups on Twitter, or just groups where you kind of just promote other podcasters, whether you listen or not. I like to join those types of things just because, as I've said many times on the show, I'm very much about supporting other people, promoting other people's creative projects and whatnot. That's why I always have at least one podcaster information in my episode notes. And so I don't even know her real name because I don't think she left that in the message, but I am going to put her information in the episode notes. Her show is called, hold on, let me pull it up, the Purring Kitty Cat Chronicles. And she sent me some voice messages that I listened to the other day, and it's just like, I don't even remember what episode she listened to, but I said something about my dad in it, and it's like the way she validated my feelings. And then we kind of talked a little bit through message or DMs on Instagram or whatever, and the way she like validated my feelings, it's kind of like she spoke things that I didn't even know I needed to hear. And so I'm just at this place where, like, before it was, okay, I'm not trying, but I'm open to if he was to come back around. But if I'm honest, where I'm at now is just, I've literally washed my hands of it, because it's just kind of like, for what? You know what I mean? Like, I'm real life about to be 40 next week. I mean, not next week. Man, I wish my birthday was next week, but actually, no, because we'd be in quarantine, and I'm really hoping it's probably still going to be like that in June or whatever. But yeah, I'm just really like, I'm washing my hands of it, and I feel okay with that. Is that easy? No, because it's hard for me to cut people off. Like, I'm the kind of person that tries to rationalize and understand why and see things from their perspective and give people the benefit of the doubt. But I don't know. I've just reached this place where I'm just done with it. And what I love about it, though, is that I don't feel like I have to be, which my family would be, especially my big cousin, would be super offended. But, like, I don't feel like I need to be done with my family because I'm done with him. And I'm for real done with him. And I remember when we had the little group chat after my uncle died, and he, and I know this is probably pain led, you know what I mean? But at the same time, what I know is just because you forgive someone, it doesn't mean you have to, like, re-engage in a relationship with them. I've said that on here before. Really, it just means you're canceling the debt that you feel like they owe you. And so I just don't feel like there's no one else that I would ever allow to just dismiss me the way he is. There's literally no one else. Like, I'm generally the kind of person that I'll cut you off before I'll disrespect you. And it's like, as I've really been thinking about how he did me, where, let me just catch you up to speed if you're new. A group chat was started after my uncle died, and I would like intentionally like try to communicate with him in the group chat. I would like speak to him directly, and he would completely ignore me. But he would speak to my cousin or my aunt or whoever, and literally just like acted like I didn't exist. You know what I mean? And it's like, dude, I'm your only child. Like, your granddaughter is graduating this year. Your grandson graduated last year. You've had opportunity where you could have met them and you didn't. So, I'm done. But I don't like, when I was kind of on that, when was this group chat? I think it was end of July or August. It's funny, me and my cousin talked about this the other day, but like, I felt like I needed to, like, I don't know, I thought it just kind of felt like it was hard to talk to my family, and it always kind of had, like, I remember when my aunt first reached out to me, this was almost 6 years ago, and it was super overwhelming when people would just seem so happy to see me, and I feel like there's always been a level of, not see me, find me or whatever, but not shame, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't even know, I can't even think, my thoughts are just all over the place right now, but just this level of, dang, I want to say shame, but it's not shame, and I can't think of the word that I'm trying to say, but feeling like they're not going to accept, like just this just always feeling like an outsider. That's literally how he has always made me feel in regards to this side of my family, and it's like, I shouldn't feel that way. I didn't do anything. Like, my mom has never kept me away from him. That's all him that he chose that, you know what I mean? And so at first it made it where it was going to be kind of hard to, I felt like, interact with them, and there was just this hesitancy that I had when they first found me, because I'm like, the only reflection of my family that I had was him, and if he didn't want nothing to do with me, then most likely they didn't want nothing to do with me, for real, in my mind or whatever. And so, but I'm off that, because like, they've shown me nothing but love, and I don't have to take it all. Like, I can have separate relationships with each of them that make an effort, and I know it goes both ways, and I make an effort and whatever, and it don't have nothing to do with him. Thanks for bringing me into this earth, being a part of my creation. I guess it took you and my mom's DNA to create this dopeness, but I guess that's all the purpose that you had in my life, and I'm okay with that, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I say I'm okay with that, but I have to continue to choose to be okay with that. I have to continue to choose to act in the opposite way of how I feel, because it's actually a really painful thing, because it's like, you're my dad, you know what I mean? But you know what it is. But I've just been very angry, because I just feel really robbed of opportunities I could have had to have memories with my family. I'm talking about, like, bruh, I'm about to be 40, you know what I mean? I ain't seen these people since I was like 4 or something like that, and it's of no fault of my own, because I remember when I reached out to him when I was 19, it could have been then, you know what I mean? I was still younger to where, my grandma lives in New Jersey, so that's not that far from, you know what I mean? But okay, let's pause for a second. Let's talk about this hotel life I'm living right now, as these Negroes, and I can't even say Negroes, I don't even know who they are, but they're they're upsetting me because just today the people above us have been hella loud. Like, I don't know if they walking with bricks on their feet, or I don't know if they beefing up there. Like, maybe I should be trying to call for help. Maybe somebody's in danger. I don't know, but they're just making all this noise. So if you could hear all that, my bad. But anyways, yeah, I just have felt super angry. Bruh. They really up there just stomping the yard or whatever. But I've just felt super angry because I know this literally makes no sense, or maybe it does make sense to you, but it's like, besides feeling like an outsider, I just feel like not a fraud, but like, it's weird because like, this is my family. Like, we share the same DNA. Like, y'all my blood, y'all my people for real, for real. Like, I have a stepdad who's raised me, and I have a relationship with that family, but it's like, y'all my family, you know what I mean? Like, you're my family, but I didn't come from y'all. And it's like, these are the people that, like, you know, a lot of them are creatives, and so it's kind of like one of my cousins, he does poetry, and one of my cousins, she sings, and I just see my auntie, she writes and does all this stuff. So like, that creative side of me, that whereas I've kind of been the only one in my family, like, certain things about me make sense as I've gotten to know different parts of them, but then I just always feel, I don't know, like this disconnect that it just makes me mad. And so that's kind of where I'm at though with him, is I'm done. Like, and I'm for real. Like, I feel like even if he was to reach out to me, I don't even think I would answer. And the reason being is because the pattern that he's displayed has been making promises that he doesn't keep, saying he's going to do this, that, and the other, and don't. Like, he literally, Mother's Day last year is when I heard from him, and I'm going to do better. And I've heard that before. And I remember telling him, like, bruh, I'm grown. You going to be in or you going to be out, but you're not going to be inconsistent, because I've gone my whole life without you. So you're not going to come in and I'm grown and be inconsistent. Like, inconsistency is a huge pet peeve of mine. And that's exactly what oh yeah. Sounded good, but it was all some bull. And so I feel like if he was to call me, I don't think I would answer the phone, because I just feel like I got to protect my peace, protect myself. And I just think DNA, sperm donor or not, that doesn't give you a right to just kind of disregard my feelings. And I'm sure there are reasons, like, you know, I'm your only child. You don't know how to be a dad. I heard that, whatever. I don't really need you to be a dad. You know what I mean? I'm grown. You could be the homie, I guess, but I wouldn't even want that, you know what I mean? But I say it like that because it's not like, I wouldn't even feel right. It would feel weird trying to come, you know, on some fatherly daughter stuff, because even with my stepdad, when him and my mom divorced, it's not like he was always there. So it's like, I didn't really grow up with that dad, you know, father-daughter relationship. Now with him, as I've gotten older or whatever, you know, he's consistent, but even in his inconsistency, he was still around. It's just he didn't live in the same state as us once they divorced. So it's kind of like he wasn't around all like that. And plus, you know, other stuff or whatever that's irrelevant at this point in time. But yeah, I don't know. That's just kind of what's on my mind. But with that, you know, I guess, I don't know, maybe I won't take a break this episode, because we'll see. But with that, I really want to, I don't even know her name. Maybe she'll listen to this episode. But I really want to thank her. Like, I thanked her privately, but I want to thank her publicly and talk about the importance of people validating your feelings. Like, I feel like a lot of times people will, and sometimes they do it with good intentions, like they're trying to encourage you or they're trying to whatever, but I think that how someone feels is how they feel, and it really is a huge pet peeve of mine when people try to tell you how you feel, how you should feel. Like, how you gonna try to tell me she didn't do this? So I'm not talking about her. But how you gonna try to tell me how I should feel about what I'm going through and my experiences or whatever, especially something like a father wound that it's man, it'd be one thing if it was like just some old stuff from when I was little. I feel like I might be over that, maybe, I don't know. But I just think because with him, it's just like he keeps pouring salt in the wound every time I interact with him, and I just really been thinking about that because, you know, all we got is time to think because it ain't really nothing else to do. And so it's like I really been thinking about that, and it's like her, man, like in the moments of listening to what she said and reading the words she also typed, and she tagged me in something else, like I've just never felt more seen or heard or understood in this matter ever. You know what I mean? And that's important. It's important. I just remember, and I don't talk a lot about my relationship with my ex-husband, and mainly it's because he passed away, and so I never want to feel like I'm disrespecting his memory or whatever, even though my kids are aware of things that happen or whatever. But like, you know, our relationship was very toxic. There was, you know, physical abuse involved, and I remember when I left him, and we actually ended up going to this like domestic violence shelter. I remember that was the first time I ever learned the importance of your feelings being validated, because there I was in this place where there were women who had been through, you know, situations similar to mine or whatever, and it's like those were the first people I don't know if anyone else ever said this, but those were the first people that I was around that I heard that what I had gone through was not okay. Like that relationship was unhealthy. And I'm super grateful for that, which is why I'm super grateful for the woman, the podcaster. We'll just call her Miss Lady, because I feel like she didn't even say her name. I like tried to go back and listen. I'm like, she didn't even really ever say her name. So like, I just really if you listening, I just really, really appreciate you. Like that I always remember the pivotal points in my life, just like I mentioned going to the domestic violence shelter, and I don't remember the woman who I was talking to, but I remember everything that was going on. We were outside, because you could go outside. Like, I used to smoke cigarettes, so on a cigarette break, and there was like a little park back there, and my kids were playing, and it was just me and the girls. My son has, I feel like I've said before, pretty much lived with his dad since he was almost 2, and so we're there, and I just remember talking to this lady about my experience, and her just saying, you know, what happened to you, that's not okay. And it's like, I needed to hear that. Sometimes, you know, when you talk to people, and I know I'm guilty of this, because you hate to see your friends down, you hate to see your friends struggling, you hate to see all that. Like, sometimes you just want people to feel better, But I feel like sometimes the best thing you can do is just validate someone's feelings and not try to rush along getting them to the feeling better part. Because I feel like some people just need to know that what they're feeling is okay. And that's kind of what this woman, Miss Lady, was saying, is that if I don't want to have a relationship with him, she was like, that's okay. Like, that's on me to decide that. And I feel like no one has ever, me and my cousin I've talked to her about it. And it's not like she ever said, she just always has said she's understood, and she's told me kind of like her issue with my dad because of the way he's treated me. But no one, I feel like, has ever really said, or maybe they did and I just didn't hear it, but I feel like, I guess maybe now is the time for me to hear it, because one of the things she said, and it's so true, is she said if you don't deal with, and I'm paraphrasing, but she was kind of like, if you don't deal with your issues with your dad, and she was like, I don't know if you're in a relationship, which all y'all listeners that been on this journey with me know I'm not in a relationship, but she was like, if you don't deal with it, you carry that into your relationship. And what I realized, and I've said this before, but I just feel like I understand it on a deeper level now. You know, it's always levels to stuff, but I realized that there's so much fear when it comes to relationships because of him. Because the message that he always speaks to me, not verbatim, like he would never say this to me, but what his actions say and his behavior is that, like, I'm not worth his time of investing in a relationship, and I'm not worth his time of, you know, trying to get to know me or doing any of that. And so, bruh, they really stomping the yard up there. I wonder if y'all could hear it. I guess I'll hear it with the playback, but it's up there. You know me, I don't really edit too much because this is my train of thought, so this is what it is. But the message, that's the message that he's spoken, and that's the message that I've wrestled with really my entire life. And so it's kind of like, that's what made me like, you know what, I just got to let that go. And it's painful. It's a journey. It's not a one-time decision. It's something I got to continue to choose. I got to continue to embrace the truth of, like, who I really am. Y'all know faith is big to me. So who God says I am, or who the people who love and care about me, who they say I am, or just what I know about myself. You know what I mean? I need to embrace that. And I need to reject the lies that are spoken through his behavior, that is like saying ultimately that I'm not worthy and I'm not good enough, and that's not true. You know what I mean? But this is why I'm very big on wanting people to understand their worth, and why I often say, don't let someone else's inability to see your worth shape who you see. You know what I'm saying? Like, how you see yourself. Because, man, life, people, I mean, and the thing about him is he didn't grow up with his dad, and my grandmother died, like, she died before I was even, what did he tell me? He hadn't even met my mom yet when she died. So it's kind of like he was only, I think, 18, 19 when his mom died. So that's young, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, he has his issues. And I, even just as I've interacted with him, like, I am like, him and my mom together is like, their DNA is probably how I'm a little bit more balanced, because he, from what I gather, is extremely emotionally driven, and my mom is very much more a logical person, and I am emotionally driven but I can pull myself out of it. So it's like I need to be in my feelings. I need to externally process and talk it out, but I can, as I've gotten older anyway, not always be led by my feelings. And even as a younger, like I can be rational, whereas I don't know that he can do that. I don't know, because I don't know him, but I just, little things I've seen, the interactions we've had. And so it's kind of like, yeah, we all got wounds, we all got whatever. So that's the part of me that always tries to be understanding and give people the benefit of the doubt. But I've just, I can't, that's not my responsibility to, like, because at the same time, you gotta face your issues, you gotta face your fears, you gotta do all that. And I had a situation, and it's something small, like, as I've said, I'm trying to find another place, and the biggest frustration that I've been having, and in one hand, okay, maybe I'm being kind of picky. My friend, who I don't know who he thinks he is sometimes, but he was kind of, getting on me about that maybe I'm being too picky. But then there's also the part that, it's like places want you to make 3 times the rent amount, or I'll go on the app and then I'll reach out to the landlord and it's not really available. It's like, why you still got it on the app then? So I say all that to say it's been an interesting journey and slightly frustrating, like trying to find a different place or whatever. But there was this house that we really, like, I liked the landlords. They seemed cool. You know what I mean? You get vibes from people or whatever. And they made it seem like we could have possibly went there, and we really liked the house and the area and whatever. Excuse me. And then, like, it took forever for them to get back to me. And I just remember when my friend asked me if I had heard back from them, and by this point, it's like we a week into this thing, maybe even more than a week. And I just remember telling him, like, I'm going to reach out tomorrow, and just that I didn't want to hear no. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, it was just like there was fear with hearing no. Part of it is probably because if you know anything about me, which you probably don't, because I ain't never really talked about this, but I don't really like researching, like, things like looking for jobs, looking for houses, looking for cars, like trying to make decisions like that. I just get super anxious. There's always like, I don't want to make the wrong decisions. It's just super overwhelming. Sometimes there's just too many houses, too many, like if I have too many options, it just becomes super overwhelming, and sometimes it's hard to make a decision. And so I don't like looking for places. So there's that, and I'm just like, I'm tired of going to look at houses, or, and either not like it or whatever. And so it's kind of like I didn't want to hear no. And so because of that, I didn't want to reach out, because there was a part of me that felt like, man, I don't think I can handle if they say no. So this is a small fear, but I say all that to say it's like we can't be walking in fear. Like you have to face your fears sometimes, and sometimes it's not going to be as bad as you think it is. And then sometimes it might be. Like, they did tell me they went with another tenant, and that's not what I wanted to hear. But then it's like, ultimately, okay, well, then I'm gonna find somewhere else. And it's like, in all things, I don't care what you've gone through in life. Maybe you've gone through harder things that I've gone through, or maybe someone might feel like you've gone through easier things than I've gone through, but your battle is your battle, and you've overcome every day you thought was the worst day up till this moment that you're listening. You've overcome it because you're still here. And so the thing about fear is that you can't let that be the driving force, and you can't let it keep you stagnant. And so that's where I struggle with my dad, because it's like, you can maybe be fearful to, and I'm not trying to, I don't know, who knows, maybe he has some sort of, mental health issues, because I know those things can be factors to where maybe it's not as easy or whatever. But that being said, I don't know if he's trying to do anything to get the kind of help that he needs, or I don't know, but I just can't, I don't know. It's too much of a negative effect on me, and so that's just kind of where I'm at with it. And honestly, if it wouldn't, and I don't even know what made, because I always say, see, when I say leave me an audio message, like respond to what I be talking about, like I really mean that, because had she not have did that, it's just like it gave me so much freedom that's like I don't have to have a relationship with him. Like, to be honest, other than a sperm donor, I don't know that man. I don't, you know what I mean? Like, you've contributed nothing to my life other than the relationship you have with my mom to get me here. But outside of that, my mom raised me, you know what I mean? My stepdad had a hand in shaping and molding me, and I mean, he, does stuff. I mean, they've been divorced since I was 10, so the fact that he didn't he could have been like, that ain't my daughter, but he don't treat me any different than my brother and sister, and treats my kids just like he treats the rest of his grandkids, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like, that's my dad. But at the same time, I do have my bio dad, but I'm cool on all that. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And my daughter is supposed to graduate May 10th, and everybody wants me to, what do you want to do? My mom's asking me, like, do y'all want to, whatever. First of all, I just can't with this whole virtual graduation on Facebook and YouTube. Like, that's so freaking ghetto, dude. Like, that's trash. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It just don't even seem like a real graduation, or like she's really graduating, even though she is, and she got a full ride scholarship to college, so she's out here doing big things. But it's like, we can't even I just feel like, she's surpassing a lot of stuff. I didn't even go to college right after high school, and I'm not saying everybody has to, but she did that, you know what I mean? Like, she's getting honored in honors night in high school. I never had that, but it's virtual. So what does that even mean? Like, they gon' say her name and we supposed to type in clap, clap, clap or something? Like, what does that even mean? I don't understand. So it's like, I don't know. I'm not feeling a lot of stuff right now. And I just got this promotion, and I love my new role, but at the same time, I don't like the way things are, as far as I don't like working from home. I didn't want to work from home. So it's kind of like, because I want work and home to be separate. I remember saying that, and then here we are. So it's like, I just feel like there are good things that are happening, and I'm, my daughter's about to be 18 on the 8th of May, so that was supposed to be this whole big old weekend, and I don't know, I just feel like, and then I'm trying to, I always try to find things to be grateful for. I always try to, keep a good perspective, because I know it could always be worse. Like, I mean, I'm working from home, but at least I'm working, you know what I mean? My job is secure. I don't have to worry about that, because I know there are people that are still waiting on unemployment, you know what I mean? I don't want to be in this hotel, but at least we're not in a shelter. Like, at least, hey, if we was to live here forever, as long as I keep paying this people, they not going, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're good. It has a kitchen, so it's not like I'm wasting all this money on eating out or all this stuff. Like, I could cook, so I've been able to keep up with my keto, except for the little 8 days when I was kind of on some other stuff. But now I'm back at it or whatever. So it's like, I know it could always be worse, but like I said in the beginning, I just feel like I don't know. I just feel like I don't understand what's happening in my life right now. Like, I feel I have purpose, but I just feel like, what's the purpose of a lot of things? I just feel like lost and isolated and all these things. And I know I'm not the only one, but as always, I share because there may be somebody listening who feels like they're the only one. And I want you to know that just because you see me laughing and doing all whatever on social media, I do that because that's how I cope. There's only literally like one, especially my one friend, that I probably vent to him the most, but I think it's just because the way he responds is how I need someone to respond. And then I have one other friend that I talk to her pretty consistently as well, as far as like my true feelings of what I'm really, really feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all hear about it on the podcast, but they kind of hear about stuff in real time. But just because all you see me do is laugh and joke, man, to be honest, when I'm laughing and joking the most, it's probably because my life feels, I don't know, it just feels so out of control right now. And it's not even like I'm out here wilding out. I just feel like I don't have control over things that I don't know. It's just weird, and I don't like it. But yeah, so that's kind of why I share. That's why my show is based how it's based. It's usually just, hey, this is what I'm going. It's almost like this is my journal. And I've tried to journal, but I just can't seem to focus my thoughts. So it's easier for me to just hop on here and, make it do what it do. So I guess I done got everything out that I needed to get out. So as always, thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. And then as always, I hope you have a great rest of your day, week, whatever. Like, it's hard right now for all of us in different ways. You know what I mean? Find joy. That's one of the things me and my kids try to do, like, because it's so easy to complain right now. But one of the things, and I it's funny because I'll at times allow my daughters to call me, like, challenge me, I guess. And one of the things I said is, like, if we gonna complain, then we need to replace that complaint with, like, find joy in something. Even if it's just, hey, at least we're not in a shelter. You know what I mean? Because it could always be worse. So find joy. That's my challenge to you. I know you probably got crazier stuff going on than me. I don't know what's going on in y'all lives. But try to find one thing to find joy. Try to find one thing to be grateful for. Because a lot of times when we can't, control our circumstances, we can control our perspective. And sometimes that's all we got. You know what I mean? And sometimes that's all that you can hold on to. For me, faith, my relationship with God is important to me, but if it's not important to you, what is? You know what I'm saying? What is going to help you get through the hard times? And hold on to that, because we don't really know how much longer it's going to be like this. Whatever this is, it could be, you might not even care about the Rona. You might not even be affected by what's going on. But it could be something else you going through that you don't know how much longer. So that's my encouragement to you, is find joy. Find something, a small, silver lining or whatever. And yeah, hopefully y'all come back and tune in next week. So first things first, shout out to Sniper T for this beat, and all his information can be found in the episode notes. Now, like I say on social media, I want y'all to interact with me, so here's a few ways you can do that, and the links and whatnot to all these methods are in the episode notes as well. Now, you can leave me a voicemail. Call 720-457-4022. You can email me. Hey, y'all can follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and I'll follow you back. And then you can go ahead and slide in the DMs, just not on no weird stuff. You can also like the Facebook page, and the link on there goes to my email as well. Now, what I need y'all to do is pay attention on my socials for when I ask for feedback for the Thoughts to Ponder episodes that air every other Monday, because the reality is that y'all feedback is what makes those episodes dope. So, leave me a voicemail, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or email me. Just holla at your girl.